What will Peter Parker do when his own responsibility is put to the test? Can he handle ultimate power? Well, let's hop into the pages of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 37 and find out together, shall we? Alrighty then, so as we join the book, Spider-Man is talking about how there just aren't enough hours in the day sometimes to get done everything he wants to do, especially now when he's dealing with two completely unrelated supervillain crime sprees. First off, you got D-list costumed villains running around like this was the frickin' X Games, knocking over everything in sight, and then you got a Sturgon virus that's going around turning people into dinosaurs. Admittedly a pretty normal week when you're Spider-Man, but still, when it gets to you, it gets to you. Surprise, surprise though, this issue actually isn't all that much about Spider-Man. We get to hook back up with J. Jonah Jameson in a very hard-working B-plot. You'll remember he's actually become a friend to Spider-Man now, and has been using what little airtime he has on his greatly diminished role on the radio trying to speak truth to power about New York's corrupt mayor Wilson Fisk the Kingpin. Dogging him though, as we saw at the end of a previous arc, is the newly returned Nora Winter. She used to work for the Daily Bugle before getting fired due to her own connection to one of the Hobgoblins. Nora's not bitter though at JJ, quite the opposite. She says she really found herself when she was forced to leave New York, and she truly knows what kind of journalist she wants to be now. It seems that her investigative reports online have been doing really damn good, and she actually wants to recruit Jonah for a big new money job. And I mean, really, who wouldn't want to have Jonah on their side? This guy basically created clickbait before there was a name for it. I mean, come on, Spider-Man Threat or Menace? Jonah is slow to go along with this. He still has his pride and his principles and still very much sees himself as a newspaper man, even though in doing so he is always seemingly 2 steps behind the next big technological advancement. But somehow, some way that is left mysterious, Nora does manage to offer Jonah something he wants. Now, what does Spider-Man want right now? Well, that might surprise you. He's still working with Jamie over at Empire University to try and fine-tune the clairvoyant, that future-telling device. Thanks to Miguel O'Hara and all that business with the Doombots in the previous arc, the clairvoyant has a power source. For now, anyway, we discover in this issue that it's not finite, and once it's dead, it's dead. But Peter starts to think to himself about all the good he could do if he put the clairvoyant to work for him as Spider-Man. After all, he's got a beta tested anyway, so why not use it to try and stop crimes before they happen? And if you're like me, you're probably screaming at your comic page right now, but wait, didn't you superheroes literally fight a whole second civil war over future crime and the morality of it? Well, yes, and Spider-Man isn't ignorant about this. In fact, he tries to run what he's going to do by the rest of the Avengers and the superhero community, and by and large, they're strangely supportive of him, saying, hey, you know what, if anyone could do it, it's you, Spider-Man, you're responsible enough, we trust you with this power. And Nick Spencer is clever enough to actually find a few wrinkles in here I didn't consider. For one, Spider-Man's not using the clairvoyant to try and end all crime before it happens. Only just the crime he fights every day, and if you're still wondering about the ethical implications a la Minority Report of arresting people for crimes they haven't committed yet, well, so far Spider-Man's only using the clairvoyant to go after people who have already committed crimes, like the bank robbers and like Sturgon. So, you know, he's not totally screwing with time and space, he's just trying to make it so he can have a couple spare moments to himself for once, and I mean, come on, Spider-Man's so selfless, hasn't he earned that? In fact, in an admittedly a heartwarming little twist, we see that Spider-Man, now given more time than he's had in years, opts to try and have a video date with Mary Jane, who's still working in Hollywood. Why, even Mary Jane herself is pretty amazed that Spider-Man managed to keep an appointment that he set up. And yeah, for once it seems like things are actually going good for Spider-Man. Things are looking up, so naturally things have to start come crashing down not long after. You see, from there we check on in with Kindred, the brand new mystery villain du jour with a particular hate boner on for Spider-Man and an implied deep connection to the web-slinger himself. In fact, Kindred even goes on a little tear this issue, talking about how Peter not only hurt whoever Kindred is under the mask, but forgot about them so much to the point that once Kindred's identity is revealed, is going to shake Peter to his absolute core. We're then reminded too that Kindred just isn't another freak in a mask. They might actually have some real deal otherworldly demonic powers because, well, much like how they were able to resummon the soul of Mysterio, Kindred summons up the soul of Stanley Carter the Sin Eater. Which, man, friggin' Sin Eater is getting around these days. Null brought back his corpse as a zombie to mess with Eddie Brock over in the Venom book, and now he's back here too. And so that was Amazing Spider-Man number 37, and I gotta say, I actually ended up enjoying this issue a lot more than I thought I would. It's actually a breath of fresh air from that Doctor Doom 2099 story. Mainly because it puts all the world-ending superhero stuff on the back burner for a little bit and tells a slower, more personal Spider-Man story, something that I think Nick Spencer really thrives at doing. I also respect Spencer too for pretty much meeting the Civil War 2 comparisons head on and saying, hey, whatever type of story about future crime you think this isn't going to be one of those. I've actually learned from the other people's mistakes. Peter Parker is weirdly suited to wield this kind of power, one, because he's so completely responsible with his power, but also because his aspirations are for the most part set kinda low. Overall though, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one a 7 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, Kate Joel again, and I just want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. And hey, if you enjoyed the book I covered in this issue and want some comics of your own, might I recommend Book Depository? It's my #1 place for shopping for comic book trades. You get a great price, and if you use my link down in the description, you'll actually be helping me out at the same time. You get something, I get something, everybody wins, right? So until next time everyone, I've been Joel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.